This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The stories, theories, and claims presented are based on publicly available sources, eyewitness accounts, and whistleblower testimony. We do not claim all content to be factual. Viewers are encouraged to do their own research and form their own opinions. Viewer discretion is advised. Few images have stirred as much intrigue as the so-called time-traveling hipster. The mysterious man caught in a 1941 photograph appears shockingly out of place for the era. The black and white photo was taken at the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in British Columbia, Canada. At first glance, it looks like any typical crowd scene from the early 1940s. Men in fedoras, women in conservative dresses, all gathered for the event. But in the middle of the crowd, one man stands out. Wearing what appears to be modern sunglasses, a casual graphic t-shirt or hoodie, and holding what looks like a portable camera decades ahead of its time. His appearance is so distinct, many have dubbed him the time-traveling hipster. Some people argue that the man's clothes and accessories simply didn't exist in 1941. Others point to the small, portable camera he's holding, suspiciously compact for the technology of the time. Skeptics have tried to debunk the photos, suggesting that all the items he's wearing were plausible for the period, albeit unusual fashion choices. But no one has definitively identified the man, and the image has never been proven to be altered or fake. The internet was a very different place in the early 2000s. Social media platforms were just starting to gain traction, and forums were the primary mode of communication. This particular photo first appeared on a popular forum in 2001 and immediately sparked heated debate. Back then, the concept of Photoshop wasn't as widely known, so claims of the image being fake carried more weight. Pro-time travel enthusiasts argued that if the photo was truly from 1941, then someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to alter it. Even though the photo is crystal clear, skeptics still point to the lack of clarity in the photo. They still claim he is holding an oversized camera or a portable projector used by journalists of the time. As the years went on, the photo gained notoriety and appeared on various websites and blogs dedicated to the paranormal and unexplained. Some even claim that the man's camera was evidence of government time travel experiments, while others insisted it was proof of an alternate universe where time travel was possible. But with the rise of social media came more sophisticated tools for investigating such mysteries. In recent years, the photo has seen renewed interest thanks to sites like Reddit, where users can easily magnify and enhance old images. Upon closer inspection, the details of the photo become more muddled and the mystery deepens. For example, the text on the man's shirt is now unreadable, casting doubt on whether it's a modern graphic design or simply too faded to make out. Similarly, the camera's intricate details are lost in the grainy texture of the photograph, making it impossible to determine its exact make or model. Despite these inconclusive findings, the image has only grown more popular, appearing in countless articles and videos about the time-traveling hipster. To this day, the man's identity has never been verified, and no one has ever found any information about who he was or where he came from. What do you think? You believe he was a time traveler working for the government, or just a man dressed in different clothes in the 1940s? In July 1954, Tokyo's Haneda Airport became the scene of one of the strangest time travel or interdimensional stories ever recorded. A well-dressed man arrived at customs, carrying a passport from a country no one had ever heard of. Fluent in multiple languages, including French and Japanese, the man appeared entirely confident in his identity. But when officials checked his passport, they realized there was a problem. It was from a country called Taured and bore no resemblance to any nation they recognize. Still, the passport appeared legitimate, complete with visas and official stamps from other countries. According to this strange document, Taured was located in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain, a region where the small nation of Andorra is situated today. The man insisted that Taured had existed for more than 1,000 years. But when asked to point it out on a map, he became agitated and confused. Authorities detained the man, suspecting a forgery or elaborate hoax. With no answers, the Japanese government made a decision. He was placed in a secure hotel room under guard while the investigation continued. But the next morning, the impossible happened. The man had vanished without a trace. His room was locked from the outside, and there was security standing outside his door all night. But no evidence of his escape was ever found. His personal documents, including bank statements and driver's license, also seemed to have disappeared along with him. There was simply no way for him to have escaped undetected. The case was quietly closed, leaving only rumors and unanswered questions behind. Some theorists believe the man from Taured was a time traveler, accidentally crossing into the wrong timeline. Others suggest he came from a parallel dimension, where the world's geography is different from ours. To this day, the man from Taured remains one of the biggest mysteries linked to time travel, alternate realities, and the possibility that other worlds exist, overlapping with our own. In 2010, a filmmaker and researcher named George Clark made waves across the internet when he released footage from a 1928 Charlie Chaplin movie premiere that appeared to show something impossible. It seemed to be a person using a mobile phone, yet it was filmed decades before such technology was invented. The footage comes from behind-the-scenes film premiere of Charlie Chaplin's The Circus, shot at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. The movie had just finished and the audience is still applauding as the film crew rushes to get the star onto the stage. People are excitedly making their way out of the theater, including an older woman dressed in dark clothing and a hat. The footage showing the woman was filmed by a newsreel or documentary-style camera crew stationed outside Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. She walks across the frame from left to right, holding something small to her ear and talking into it. It looks exactly like a person talking on a mobile phone. When Clark released his analysis online, the video quickly went viral, fueling theories that the woman was a time traveler who accidentally got caught on camera. The idea seemed preposterous, but intriguing enough to spark widespread discussion. Some argued the woman was simply holding a hearing aid device. These were common in the late 1920s, worn by people who suffered from hearing loss. However, this explanation doesn't seem likely. Not only does the object in her hand not resemble known hearing devices of the time, but her behavior also doesn't match. Hearing aids were typically small and discreet. People wouldn't have been able to speak into them or hold them close to their ears as she does. Plus, the woman appears animated and engaged in conversation. If she were using a hearing aid, it's unlikely she'd be so expressive. As the debate raged on, skeptics offered various theories, but none could fully account for all aspects of the event. Some suggested the woman might be using a type of early telephone, but this is highly unlikely. Mobile phones hadn't been invented yet, and even if they had, they wouldn't have worked without infrastructure. There were no cell towers or wireless networks in the 1920s. Any telephone would have required wires and connections, making a mobile phone impossible. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved. No one knows for sure what the woman was doing or why she behaved so erratically. Her actions don't fit neatly into any known historical context or scientific understanding. The woman herself has never been identified, and no one has come forward claiming she's a relative or a friend. If the woman is a time traveler, it suggests the possibility of people visiting the past or the future. Let me know what you think. In 2003, an extraordinary story emerged from the heart of Wall Street, capturing the attention of the public, skeptics, and time travel enthusiasts alike. A man named Andrew Carlson was reportedly arrested by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission after turning an initial investment of $800 into $350 million in just 2 weeks through stock trades. His success rate is unheard of. Every single trade was perfect, as if he knew exactly how the market would move. Under interrogation, Carlson supposedly confessed an even stranger truth. He wasn't a financial genius. He was a time traveler from the year 2256. According to the story, he had traveled back in time, equipped with knowledge of historical stock market fluctuations, planning to quietly amass a fortune. According to Carlson, he had traveled to 2003 specifically to avoid detection. See, in his own time, he was already a known commodity, making it impossible to move large sums of money without drawing attention. But in 2003, he was nobody, allowing him to quietly build up his fortune. Authorities, baffled by his detailed knowledge and perfect investment record, reportedly launched an investigation. To their surprise, no trace of Andrew Carlson existed prior to his sudden financial success. No birth records, no verifiable identity. Authorities were skeptical, but intrigued enough to proceed with caution. If this guy really was from the future, then he might have information about events that could help save lives. Perhaps he could provide insight into future pandemics or natural disasters. And that's when things got even weirder, according to the documents. Carlson agreed to provide more information about future events in exchange for leniency, including cures for diseases, secrets about UFOs, upcoming pandemics, and future wars. But before authorities could piece together a coherent narrative from his rambling, he vanished. The documents state that he was released on bail by an unknown benefactor and was never seen again. While most major news outlets eventually dismissed the story as a hoax, likely originating from a satirical publication, many believers argue that Carlson's disappearance and the lack of concrete evidence either proves a cover-up or lends credibility to the tale. Could Andrew Carlson have really traveled through time to make his fortune? Or was he a clever fraudster who conned the system? What do you think? In the world of time travel conspiracies, few images have stirred as much debate as the mysterious photograph taken in Reykjavik, Iceland in 1943. At first glance, it appears to be a typical black and white street scene from the World War II era. Soldiers in uniform, civilians going about their day, and an ordinary street backdrop. But look closer, and you'll spot something that doesn't belong. Leaning casually against a window, surrounded by military personnel, stands a man holding something to his ear, appearing as though he's speaking on a mobile phone, a device that wouldn't be invented for nearly 40 more years. The man's modern posture, his distracted, casual expression, and the object's clear resemblance to a phone have led many to believe he was accidentally caught during a temporal slip, time traveler blending in with the crowd. Skeptics, of course, have their explanations. Some claim he's simply adjusting his hearing aid, scratching his ear, or holding a pipe. Others suggest he could be using a primitive portable radio or a military communication device. But history tells a different story. In the early 1940s, portable communication equipment was anything but subtle. Military field radios were notoriously bulky, requiring backpacks, large battery packs, and visible antennas. Even the most advanced handheld communication devices at the time were oversized, clunky, and needed extensive wiring, nothing resembling the small, sleek object seen in the man's hand. During World War II, the average soldier used devices like the -536 Seychelles rupees handy-talkie, but still far too large to discreetly hold to one's ear like a mobile phone. These radios were boxy, required visible antennas, and certainly didn't allow for casual one-handed operation while leaning against a wall. The object in the photo, however, appears compact and light, held casually to the ear, just as someone would with a modern mobile phone. No wires, no backpack, no visible antenna, just a small device, oddly out of place in 1943. The man's behavior continues to spark theories of time travel, parallel realities, or secret technology leaks. What do you think? Coincidence? Hoax? Please subscribe for part 2 of Time Travelers, and always remember, don't look up.